And I do believe that we are live, guys. It is 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles, and it is 9:01 actually here in Los Angeles. It is Friday the 26th of what? 26th of July, AD 2024. Happy White History Month. Indeed. We will get to your calls today, guys. Let's see. Where is which one is Supersource, Nick? There's, and I have a special co-host today.
That's not showing right now.
Oh, that's not showing right now? Oh, okay, cool. I do have a special co-host today. Which one do I press for that?
The source is over here. SSRC, somewhere over here.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, boom.
SSRC.
Hey, Bigg Bump. I have my, let me put this here. That might be a little bit manlier. What's up, Bigg Bump? How you doing, man? Oh, let me make sure that you have it unmuted. Thank you. Nick, the American Anchor Baby, is helping out. What's up, Bigg Bump? How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Oh, no. Turn on your mic. Flip that thing. Boom.
Test.
Yeah.
Right on.
What are we going to be talking about today, Bigg Bump?
Oh, man. Let me go to my notes real quick.
I know.
So piggybacking off of last time I was here, the slavery issue with one of the specific tribes that I mentioned when a caller called in, Dahomey. Excuse me, have some coffee. Dahomey tribe. A little history on the slave trade, and that it wasn't what it's been told.
Speak up. Here,
Yeah?
Let me crank him up. Do I crank him?
Is that better?
Or is he coming in loud enough, guys?
Test. Hello.
Too loud? Too clipped? Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. So
yeah, you're right. I see.
That another thing is that all climate change and global warmers are possessed, and there's proof of it. Proof of the whole possession and lies.
Although I disavow for the sake of my channel. I believe it. I believe in the climate. But anyway, they are possessed. That's true.
Right. Yeah. Another thing is Robbie Starbuck, one of the film directors, conservative. He's going into these larger companies and American companies that are falling into the woke, the DEI, LGBT, all that, and just showing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then touch on the shooting, the Sonya Massey and Sean Grayson incident.
Okay. That's a story that we talked about yesterday.
Right. So that's it. Just something that was on my mind, the ones that I stood out more recently.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, guys, you can follow Bigg Bump, youtube.com/@BIGGBUMP. And he's also BIGG_UMP on X and Instagram and Truth Social. So you can follow him everywhere at all times. And he's pretty active on, especially on X.
Yes.
And a little bit on IG and even on Truth Social. But you can check out his songs on Bigg Bump on YouTube, BIGGBUMP. So all that, and we will be taking your calls, guys. But anyway, everybody, it's Friday. It's the AJ Gallardo original theme song. Let's get right on with the show.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the DJ Gallardo original theme song. We're going to have a fun, loosey-goosey The Hake Report show. We will take your calls as well and your super chats over here. Nice.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I'm wearing my Obvious Globe t-shirt. My shot's a little cluttered. Pardon me, but it is an Obvious Globe. Do you agree that it is an Obvious Globe Bigg Bump?
I agree.
Nice.
Obvious globe.
Wait, how do I make this happen? Boom. Bam. Obvious Globe Bigg Bump approves. NASA shill confirmed. Although he does think that there was some funny stuff with the moon landing. Although it did happen, but there was some funny stuff, he said.
Shenanigans. Yeah, I do believe that as well.
And you have your LA Dodgers hat and Rep Cali.
Yes.
Street, what does that say?
Streetwise.
Nice.
Yeah.
Indeed. So, before we get to calls, let's dive right in with a story or two here. Let's talk about this. Do you want to do? Let's start with the first story that you mentioned. Go ahead with this. Explain.
Which one? The slave issue?
Yeah.
Was that the first one I mentioned? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, like I said, the last time I was in, a caller called in after I mentioned something about the slaves, black Negro slaves owning slaves, that he called in and said, oh, well, they were forced to give up the slaves back in Africa, which isn't necessarily true. Some had, but there were tribes and throughout Africa that would go have wars or just go out and take slaves. You know, they'll take POWs and make them slaves, or, you know, send them off, kill them or whatever. And then also during the slave trade that they would, when I'll say this specifically because they had a tight knit with the Europeans from the British, the Spaniards, and the Portuguese, that they would sell off, trade off the slaves, the captors, and whoever that they had captured, you know, whatever captives they had. And it was the Dahomey tribe specifically.
I've heard of this. Yeah, you mentioned this. I'm pulling it up on the computer. If you guys see me looking a little distracted, let me pull up with this website that you sent. What about this Dahomey tribe? Where were they?
They were in what now is, I don't even know how you say the name of Benin, or I guess it's Benin. I don't know. They were in West Africa.
Okay.
And they were at the southern, so I think it's like in between, let's see, I think it was somewhere Congo or something. I don't know, like West Africa.
Yeah.
And they had a port that was really popular and active, I'll say that. So this was in the 1700s, 1800s, and they were one of the last tribes, last countries to stop their slave trade. They were going against the crown to the British wanted them to, instead of dealing in slavery, is to deal in palm oil towards the end.
The British wanted them to do palm oil, not slavery.
Yeah, the British, they were with abolition, so they wanted them to just stop, and we'll give you, you guys have the free reign to palm oil that you'll be, on top. So, but yeah, so in this tribe, like I said, in West Africa, it was 1700s to 1700s, to 1800s, that there were like three brothers that in a kingdom, Dahomey, and they separated, and each one did the same thing. They just were, how that happens. One takes a certain area, the next one takes another area.
Yeah.
And so they would come together, go out throughout Central Africa, just areas, local tribes, and take take over, bring the captors in, and when the Europeans came down, they would sell them off for, ammunition, rifles, what else? Food supplies, different type of foods, all type of things. Just to, they were respected in a way. For whatever word, but they were notorious for it. That's the one thing and also that was the last area that allegedly the last slave ship that came over. That was the Dahomey area that came to Mobile, Alabama. I think that's where it was. That was supposedly snuck in.
Wow. Oh, it snuck in.
It was, yeah, and
that means that the officials weren't supporting it,
right?
But
right.
there were some people who were down for it.
Yeah, there's
down for some slaves.
Yeah, and there was 110 that they wanted specifically, and it was allegedly it was a bet. Like one of a gentleman said, "Oh, I can still bring in X amount of slaves to the United States."
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. So
was this death of a slave king? You sent me this little tip thing on that. Is that related?
Right.
Is that from the Dahomey?
That's the same Dahomey tribe. Yeah.
Okay, let me show this to the people.
And he was like I guess it doesn't matter, notorious for. He was a family member of, a descendant of the three brothers or whatever. So his was that 1858 is when he passed. And he was like he was dictator for sure. King, he was one of those that would go out and take over villages and enslave whoever.
Wow.
And get rid of them.
Nice. And that sounds typical of, like, you look at some of those Haitians, the way that they're acting, and that's typical of human nature.
Right.
And the blacks try to act like they weren't in on human nature somehow.
Yeah.
Like it was only whites who had that evil human nature.
Right. Not the case.
This is from the Baltimore Sun, Friday, the 15th of April, 1859. Death of a slave king. The last mail from the west coast of Africa brings tidings of the death of Gezo, or Gizo, the notorious slave king of Dahomey, who for upwards of 25 years supplied all the demands of the Spanish and Portuguese slave dealers, who infested the Bight of Benin. Something like that.
When I figured out what Bight was, it's like the coastal area where you see the high mountain range kind of. It's like the flat, like a plateau kind of, and then like I guess up north,
sort
kind of like
the
when
cliffs.
you're taking 101. Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
The ocean's right there, so similar. I think that's what a Bight.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, yeah.
The Bight of Benin, ravaging and devastating the interior far and wide by his slave hunts to obtain victims for his European customers. Wow.
Yeah.
So he died in 1858, right before the Civil War was about to start.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He, like I said, I'll just keep saying the same word, notorious, because that whole tribe was one of the biggest. Go ahead.
One of the biggest slave-doing tribes.
Right. Yeah. And they, and again, they wouldn't stop. They weren't going to stop. And he was the last one to make sure that it wouldn't end. The abolitionist, he knew, but he just wasn't having it at all. They even gave up, like, to appease the crown, would give up slaves, like, higher up. Let me see, like in a totem pole, like it'll be say a house slave or whatever, for lack of better words, they would give to Queen Victoria, for instance. They gave one to the Queen, and as like an appeasement, as, hey, we'll do it eventually. They would even, the Royal Navy would block off the trade routes, and but they still would find a way to have the Spanish take the slaves that they have, or the captives they have as slaves, and the Portuguese. They were doing dealings with Brazil and all, like, in the Caribbean, of course. Yeah. So they were very active.
It reminds me of, as you talk about it, it reminds me, and the fight against it, of the, what do you call it? The drug trade.
Mm-hmm.
You know how the drugs were,
Right.
I don't know. I don't know how bad drugs used to be before the good old days, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like opium, all they had was like opium. And I know some cultures had peyote.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But they've enhanced drugs and gotten really into drugs, and they're doing the drug trade, and there was legal, and then there's illegal crackdowns on drugs, making them illegal because it's so out of control, a problem for society. And there's still like this, they're still doing it regardless.
Right.
With these cartels and all this stuff.
Definitely.
And the government is in on it on some level.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a mess because people are evil.
That's it. That's just it. Yeah. And then it's out of control even when, the whole time it's out of control.
Yeah.
When the government is involved, and it makes it worse.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's almost managed when it's left alone. When you let people do it, it'll either prosper or it'll run out.
Yeah, true.
So, and that's the same thing with the slave thing. It just ran. I was going to run its course.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right.
And which it did, but there are going to be the ones that want to keep it active and keep it going.
Yeah. You just enforce all the laws around it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, interesting. Are you sort of a libertarian then, in terms of like the drug thing? Should we never have made these laws against them, and just enforced strongly against murder, against theft, against illegal border crossings and stuff like that?
Probably so. Yeah, I typically would lean towards that. I see that, but I also see how destructive it is. But that they're going to do it anyway.
Yeah,
if they want to do it, they're going to do it anyway.
Right.
So,
and just not what we have is a mama culture, and I'm on the fence about it. Once we've made it illegal, we shouldn't legalize because we made it illegal.
Yeah.
Like, you're switching back and forth.
Right.
Just leave it how it is and deal with how it is, and then we can see in a more manly and wise way how to deal with it.
Yeah.
I heard that men weren't really behind prohibition. It
was
a woman
the
thing.
women thing. Yeah. Yeah.
And that was mama spirit going overboard with their false, forced, quote unquote, morality beyond what was even moral. But and then not be a mama about it, not take care of these addicts.
Yeah.
Not have they're bringing in problems, and they're messing up with the family, subsidizing broken families, encouraging broken families, and all that stuff, and encouraging getting away from God and all that stuff.
True.
So people are getting more into drugs and escapes and selfishness.
Yeah.
And self-destructiveness, and then they're taking care of them.
Right.
I think
Like
we
a
have.
mama.
I think we're worse, really, than the slavery days.
Yeah.
I think we are, but I know for sure that we're no better
Definitely no
than any
better.
of the
Yeah.
slavery days.
Yeah. Yeah. No better.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, you know, like someone got mad at me because of what I said about possibly it is, you know, better back then. But it's wild right now. You may have, you know, because of the way you live, you
Yeah.
know, your surroundings, it's the times that, you know, technology and different things like that. But a lot of those people did prosper.
Right.
You know, they kept it together. They made things work seems a lot better. They
Yeah.
got what you didn't need. Whatever it is that I don't see a, I'll say the father in the home, be a father, mother, married with kids. I don't see how you not see that that's more prosperous than the broken, the welfare queens, the you know the illegitimacy as that being better.
Yeah.
That's not better. You know, no matter how you live, no matter how
Right.
much money you make, that's not better.
That's
So,
true.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a mess.
Yeah, it is.
Let's keep it moving. I want to get into this other story. What was the second one that you mentioned? I think I know what it
forgot
was,
which
but I
one,
want you to kind of manage.
I forgot which one I said next. I guess I went in order for what I have. So I have the climate change.
Nice. I was hoping so.
Okay,
Cool.
All climate change and global warmers are possessed. And so there was a study that it was from what it was in Greece. It's I think a Greek either university or let's see. Oh man, I'm already at the bottom. Okay, so it's the Department of Water Resources and Environmental Engineering School of Civil Engineering, National Technical University of Athens. I don't know, Zogapou in Greece. It was published in July, a couple weeks ago, July 10th, 2024. And I'll say initially this came from InfoWars. I seen the headline. I was like, oh, man.
Yep.
And the headline said, man-made climate change is based on imagination and assumptions.
That's an interesting headline based on a study. And it literally uses the word imagination and assumptions.
Right.
So, two of our favorite words on the Jesse Lee Peterson Show and the Hake Report.
Yeah.
I really relate to this. An
Yeah.
article by Sean Miller of InfoWars,
Mhm.
July 24th.
Yeah.
Anthropogenic. I used to call it anthropomorphic. But it's not anthropomorphic.
I only
That's
know
when
anthropogenic.
when you look like a animal or you look like a human. You make something look sort of human. Like a
Right, like
VeggieTales was anthropomorphic.
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
think.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
They made
I
the
was
cucumbers.
thinking of how in one of Snoop Dogg's videos where they either changed him into a Doberman Pinscher or they changed the Doberman Pinscher into him or something. Like
Yeah.
morphing it. Because he looks like a dog.
True.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anthropogenic climate change is a global crisis with a global solution, a global tax, and a global government.
Yeah. Globalism.
Yeah, true.
Every bit of globalism.
So what was this study that? Who said this and what study is it so I can disavow it for the sake of my channel?
Let me go back to it again. It's the Department of Water Resources and Environmental Engineering School of Civil Engineering. And this is in Athens, Greece, in the province of Greece area in Athens. The person is Dimitris Kosianos.
Okay.
Yeah. That was one of the researchers at this school, National Technical University of Athens. Yeah, and they go over the, I guess, causality of is temperature. Does the temperature cause the carbon dioxide to rise, or as the global warmers, climate changers say, that the carbon dioxide increases the temperature, where we see, temperatures rise. But I'll say anti, in quotes, climate changers would say that the statistically that when the temperature rises, then the carbon dioxide follows, in a
Oh.
eventually, not that CO2 is then making the temperatures rise.
So one is so they get the cause wrong?
Yes, that it's in reverse.
I disavow this. They're saying one causes the other. It's kind of like, does crime cause poverty, or does poverty cause crime? They're
Yeah,
trying to
use
claim
it
that
like
poverty causes crime.
Yeah.
And I get that it sets the tone for there's a little bit more temptation perhaps, but it's also caused by, poverty is caused by crime. And they're both caused by some spiritual issue. But anyway, that has to do with the immorality of the people.
Yeah. Yeah. So it says a recent study. Go ahead.
Yeah, no,
No,
go ahead.
I was just going to read where it comes off. Recent study indicate that man-made anthropogenic climate change, formerly called global warming, and of course they use global warming to change it to climate change.
Yeah.
And previous to the global cooling, is not based in reality. Rather, it is based on imagination and assumptions. And I'll go to that at the end. And let's just say the premise of the study is that the climate system is very complex and subject to perpetual change due to numerous processes, either internal or external to it. And the fact that one of them, namely the relationship of climate with atmospheric carbon dioxide, is highlighted in the last decades, does not correspond to its actual importance as a climate driver. So, like they continuously push that the CO2 is the surroundings are making the CO2 rise, and then making the temperatures rise again.
Right.
Which you would think that from school that trees give off the CO2.
They take in the
I mean,
CO2.
sorry, my fault.
Yeah.
They take in the CO2 and then they give us oxygen. So why would the CO2 be a bad thing if the trees are taking it in? You would think that at an elementary level that you would.
We have more trees than ever, don't we?
Right. Yeah. So that
So
would be more oxygen.
they would be taking in more CO2 than ever.
Exactly.
But we're burning fossil fuels, Bigg Bump.
Yeah.
Fossil fuels are the primary driver of climate change, man-made climate change, according to the mainstream media, which I believe for the sake of my channel.
Okay. Right on.
But they're saying that it's an assumption.
Yes. That the bottom line is that they say that it is an assumption. It says rather such claims are based on imagination rather such claims are based on imagination and climatic models full of assumptions. And it says, however, as shown in that's on another thing, that the causality direction in time series produced by climate models is opposite to that of the real world data. And that was part of the conclusion that the study has. That
Is this a peer-reviewed study, to use one of those buzzwords? Peer-reviewed?
It is. It is.
I do notice that the scientists who don't have an agenda, who have no agenda, They say it is real, it is happening, it is changing.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether because I haven't really listened to them closely because I don't really care about this subject, but they say there's question about how much of it is good or bad. They're not making claims that the politicians are making,
Right.
nor are they making claims that the activists are making, nor
Right.
are they making claims that that like the UN and stuff like that, the power hungry types are making.
Right.
Or the mainstream media. The mainstream media makes sloppy claims, in my opinion. It seems like, and so too do like Gavin Newsom, bringing up climate change with the wildfires. Oh, with the wildfires, they're burning hotter because it's warmer and drier or something like that. I even read a little thing that turbulence is going to get worse, and it is already getting worse. I'm like, and they say worse, like turbulence is a bad thing. But, no, I disavow turbulence. But it's like the sky is falling, and they don't really know the future.
Right.
They can talk about the present. I understand they know stuff that I don't know, but they already have like false solutions. Just like what that underlying thing said at the bottom of the headline. This part is kind of undeniably true, where it says right here, anthropogenic climate change is I'm going to get in trouble for this, is a global crisis for a global crises, for a global solution, a global tax for a global government. That is their solution is socialism, globalist socialism. Like Bill Lockwood has said, green is the new red. And their solutions are not honest.
Right. No.
They don't.
No.
It's like Obamacare.
Right.
Obamacare is not a solution, nor even is what they want which is just totally government takeover or whatever.
Right.
The public option. No, not the public
Not the
option. Just
public
public.
option.
Period.
Just- yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, which it's what's gonna eventually happen because they're just breaking these companies. Or it's I don't know. It's commie capitalism.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
What a mess.
I would say I would figure that also people would realize that the climate changes.
Right.
We know that.
Yeah.
But then to play on it, they take it an extra level is you're causing it.
Right.
But the climate changes anyway. But by knowing that, they can use that over and over again.
Yeah.
And
scapegoat people.
Yeah. I'm very big on that. The sun is the biggest factor of it all.
I've heard that solar activity is huge.
Yeah. It's flat Earth or no flat Earth or globe. The sun is a very. It plays the most on climate.
Yeah. It's undeniably a big part. I disavow that it's the most. I think it's man-made stuff for the sake of my channel. But it's definitely undeniably. The honest ones, I think everybody really, if they don't have an agenda, will acknowledge that and not try to say, no, it doesn't.
Right.
Everybody knows that the sun.
Right.
Man, I thought of something, but I forget what it was. Well, you mentioned that these guys are possessed.
Yeah.
What makes you say they're possessed?
Because they're living in a futuristic state.
Right.
Like, this is it. This is there's a crisis. It's gonna get worse. And we have a solution.
Right.
And all that is in the imagination. Is you're living in your head about the whole thing, and you're acting upon it in a way that it's making that person insane anyway, and then causing other people to go insane.
Yeah.
Like the the one lady down in Orange County that always pops up in the news, Porter. I think her name is not Kim Porter. I think her name is Porter. Like she's like a
Kim Porter. That
That
sounds
is Kim.
like. I think she was from OC. Has she? Oh no, not
Kim Porter is
That's a black woman.
Yeah, that's Puff Daddy's ex-wife or something. But I think her name is Porter though.
Potter.
Porter, something.
Kim Potter. No. Kim Potter was the female who was like taser, taser, taser.
Oh.
Blam. Oops. Yeah.
But how she has
OC
her
Democrat.
daughter going crazy and
That's right.
about the climate change. So people, once you get that thought of, oh, this is an issue, and you run with it. And
Katie Porter.
Katie Porter. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That you're playing. For one, you're playing God by trying to change things,
Right.
trying to make things happen, and you're just in your head about it the whole time through.
Yeah.
That's where they are possessed. As soon as someone says something, as soon as it gets in their mind, they run with it, take it. Any statistic that they agree with, they're going to run and take it. And they don't come to, being rational or logical about any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Katie, Democrat representative. We'll see what happens. This is from National Review. Democrat representative says her 9-year-old daughter, I was about to say far left. The Rhino outlet, the National Review, says Katie Porter's 9-year-old daughter is terrified of climate change. We're all going to die soon. There's Katie Porter. See if I can not be a boomer. The heck. All right, get rid of these ads. Representative Katie Porter, Democrat of California, Orange County, California.
All right.
Said this was 2021, a Thursday hearing with climate change activist Greta Thunberg, that her 9-year-old daughter is worried the earth is on fire and we're all going to die soon because of climate change. I told my 9-year-old daughter that it's funny that she's setting herself up for being mocked.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. For sure.
Uh,
For sure.
Yeah, because that's a you problem. And she's acting like this is somebody else's fault. A blind woman. I told my 9-year-old daughter I was going to be speaking with you. Greta Thunberg, the mentally ill Swedish child. No longer a child.
Oh, right. She's an adult now.
What do you think about climate change? And she said, the earth is on fire. We're all going to die soon. Katie Porter told Thunberg. And I asked her how that made her feel. She said it made her feel angry. Possessed, yeah.
Yep.
Not good. Evil Democrats poisoning the minds, reminds me of the blacks poisoning the minds of their children.
Right.
With this racism,
Right.
fear and anger and hatred and suspicion.
Yeah.
Just the devil's in the parents.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like you just said, it's the opposite of like the climate change thing. Climate changers want to live in the future, and then the blacks want to live in the past with the slavery and
Right.
all the
And
civil
pretend
rights.
it's still happening.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of just dealing with it now, take it as it comes.
That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. So, yeah, and also this is another, within the article,
Yeah.
there's someone from Natural News, which deals with all, like mainly natural living, holistic type stuff, supplements, just that whole natural way of living.
Uh-huh.
And from what he wrote was the strong conclusion of the study is the causality direction certainly shows that temperature changes, is what I was saying earlier, lead and carbon dioxide changes lag on yearly decadal, centennial, and millennial scale. So it can lag from years, the CO2, after the
Oh.
temperature rises, up to thousands of years.
Whoa. In
So,
natural news, and is this a legitimate news source
Yes.
that I'm gonna
it is legitimate.
not have to disavow? Oh yeah, this looks legitimate.
Yeah,
It's all green and fancy.
Yeah, Mike Adams is the editor. He's the owner, and
But it's but why would they capitalize false narrative? Hold on. I don't know if for the sake of my channel. Kevin Hughes. Okay, so he's the editor of this natural news site.
not Hughes, but the gentleman's name is Mike Adams.
Oh, Mike
He's,
Adams.
the
Okay.
health ranger is what he goes by.
Okay.
Yeah. So they also delve into things like this as well, outside of bodily health and nutrition, all that stuff. Yeah.
One of the things that I read about communists, and this is true of human nature, really, is that they try to go outside of your area of expertise to keep you back on your heels, so you can't really argue strongly against anything that they're saying because you don't know.
Right.
That's why you just have to be shameless, like the blacks are,
Yeah.
and steamroll
Right.
through their stuff, because it's like, I don't know and I don't care.
Yeah.
And what you're saying has nothing to do with anything,
Mhm.
and we're doing it this way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because Trump cares, like Trump, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that he's falling entirely for this hysteria about the climate, but he
Okay.
cares about the climate.
Yeah.
He cares about, not the climate so much, but the environment.
The environment. That's
Yeah.
a better word. Yeah.
And being responsible
Mhm.
and doing things in a right and sensible way, not out of control.
Yeah.
I remembered what I was going to say, that a lot of times we do stuff that's, we being, any human being, does stuff with our lives. We meddle with our own lives or meddle with somebody else's life. You make it worse. You complicate it.
Mhm.
Even when you're trying to help, quote unquote.
Right.
You see a problem and you're right that there is an issue. It's not really the problem, but you see an issue and you go in to fix it. You do something.
Yeah.
You may help in this area, but you make other problems.
Right.
And that's always,
Right.
I think, what happens with this climate stuff,
Yeah.
with Obamacare, with any of these swoop in with solutions type people.
Yeah. And that's the problem, reaction, solution type deal anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it always tends to make things worse.
Right.
You know, in whatever area, it could be, you may be getting rid of or thwarting Al-Qaeda or Taliban, but you're taking away Americans' freedoms,
Right.
and things like that. So
Yeah.
it doesn't work.
So true.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's the same with the Obamacare.
Yeah.
It's climate change. So you're just getting climate change. You're getting tax. You have a global community, global entity charging you to breathe, basically, and it makes things worse for you. You're right. You're right about that.
Lucky Larry says, hey, something is up with your mic. I can hear him, but it isn't crisp and it's echoey, he says. Maybe I just need to be closer to the mic. We have Bigg Bumps. Speak up loud and clear, and I'll pull you down a little bit, Bigg Bump.
Okay.
Because we have a different setup, guys. The, what do I say? This mic that Bigg Bump has is a little bit further away from him. And what is he supposed to do? Like lean and crane his neck forward the whole time? We have him on a couch that sends him backwards. And his voice is he's already the son of
Dr. Ben Carson.
Ben Carson.
Right.
And so if there's any issue, American Anchor Baby's going to troubleshoot. But I'll try to stay close to my mic. And you just speak up loud and clear. And if you start to get too loud, we'll pull you down. But
Okay.
I don't think there's much danger of you getting too loud. Speak like you're on the football team out on the field, hollering at your teammate across the field.
Okay. All right.
And because I suspect that it might be my mic getting picked up by his mic.
Okay.
Chat said Hake was echoing, but the sound is fine. So who knows? It might have to do with his mic picking up mine.
Oh,
My voice. Yep, that's what it is.
Gotcha.
So it's
All
like
right,
panning a
I'll
little.
try to.
Thank you, Lucky Larry. You're always looking out for us. Bigg Bump needs an Elon Musk Neuralink mic. Okay. Well, let's see here. The lines are full. Let's get to some calls here. Lower Bigg Bump as he get him closer. Okay, cool. Yeah. Nick, the American anchor baby, helping out. Here he comes to save the day.
Maybe that would work. Yeah.
Whoa,
Nice.
that is awesome.
Uh-oh.
Okay, let me pull this down a little bit. Talk?
Right on, Nick. All right.
Or Nick, you want to fix the volume? Since you're there.
Appreciate you, Nick.
Nick is
you can hear.
takes training wheels.
Yep.
Man, that sounds so much better.
Does it? Cool.
Yeah.
Right on.
Okay. Let's get to some calls. Kentucky John. John from Kentucky, our friend and fan. John from Kentucky, what is up? John from Kentucky.
Man, I think Bigg Bump needs a Red Bull because, man, he's putting me to sleep over here, man. I've been listening to y'all for like 30 minutes now. And goodness gracious, he's just bringing the energy down.
Isn't it kind of chill, though? It's relaxing.
Yeah, but he's monotone. He don't have a up or a down. You know, he just kind of stays in the pocket. He don't get too high, too low. But, man, look, I don't have a lot of time. I just want to ask him his opinion on the Sonya Massey case. How does he see it? You know, everybody's split on what happened in the video or what should happen to the cop, just like any other issue. But I just want to hear how he sees it.
What specifically do you want me to touch on?
This is where the white cop shot the black woman in the head or in the face inside her home in like Springfield, Illinois. I covered it yesterday. We discussed it a bit. What did you want his take on specifically, John, Kentucky?
Is the cop in the right? And look, you might have to hang up, man. My truck is going crazy right now.
Okay.
But is the cop in the right? Is Sonya Massey in the right, wrong? You know, just his overall opinion of how things are going.
I don't know, like, overall opinion. It's just
you don't have an opinion.
I
like
have
slavery thing.
I have. I don't know because I've seen everything, and if I had an opinion, it's based off of what I've seen or, you know, personally with the situation with boiling water. So
that's right, because she had a pot of boiling water,
Right.
and that was the whole cause of concern for
Right.
these cops, at least the Sean Grayson.
right, yeah. So
That she might throw it at him.
yeah. So I will base everything off of that situation that happened that I know of. So it
Do you think she lunged at him with the water?
I don't think, from what I see that pot was picked back up and thrown with.
I don't think she threw it. I don't think we saw her throw it. I did see her yesterday on Hake's video. You know, she put it down, then she squatted down. Then as she came back up, she picked it up.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
But she had the pot
she
though,
never-
right? When she came
she
back
had the
up.
pot.
Okay. So, and then also the water, the steam from whatever was in that pot was.
It looks like when he shot her in the face, it looks like the pot just fell right then and there.
I don't know
It's
about
almost.
That's that
I've
is
been
possible.
honest. I didn't see her throw it. I didn't see her throw it.
Whether
But
the pot
I
was
thought
turned to the pot. You know, the inner part of the pot was facing the camera, so you've seen the pot.
she got shot in her face, man. She got shot in her face.
that's so that's so graphic for you to keep on repeating that, man. My tender.
Well, that's
my-
what I'm saying. That's
Okay,
why,
but we got your point. We got your point. For the
my
sake of the
opinion on
kids,
the cop.
I'm
My
with
opinion on the cop.
I'm with
Go
you. I'm with you, John. In that, I don't know whether she threw it, but she had it.
Right.
She picked it back up, and that is cause for
Yeah.
concern for the sake of the cop. It's cause for the
Yeah.
concern. If you're the cop, Why did she pick it up back up? What the heck is going on? That
couldn't both of them be wrong to an extent though?
Yeah,
that's possible.
Yeah, because I think he overreacted, man. Like I don't even think he should have told her to go over and cut the pot off.
But you're not the cop, though.
Yeah, I mean, if you're there and you're like, I don't want to fire.
Yeah.
Let's say he said, I don't want to fire. Isn't that a legitimate statement? Go turn that off.
Yeah, but he automatically assumed that she was going to throw water on him. As soon as she went over there, he automatically assumed that.
No, she said,
yes,
I rebuke you. And then he's like, huh?
I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Yeah.
She said it twice.
Yeah.
Was she joking around, or did you watch the video with audio and stuff? Because I have not watched the video with the audio or anything. I haven't watched it. So was she joking, or was it like she crazy? Because people are saying CNN
I
said
think both.
Okay.
I think a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But I assumed she was going to pour the water out, and the cop assumed she was going to pour the water on him.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to say, "I'll shoot you in your effing face," it's like that ain't de-escalation. Like that takes it to the extreme right there.
Right, but that's like
takes it to the extreme.
That's like comply or else. Like he's making her aware
I don't
of
think it should have got to that point though.
He's
if
making
you had a different cop.
But he's in my opinion, whether he did it right or wrong, he was trying to make her aware of the gravity of the situation, where whether she realizes it or not, she is posing what appered to be a threat to him.
I think he's a bad cop. That's what I think.
He may be a bad cop, but he didn't intend. He didn't go in there wanting to kill her.
Listen, when he was done doing what he was doing, and the other cop showed up, he went out there and he said the F&B tried to throw hot water on me.
Right.
That kind of lets me know his character, man. Like he shouldn't be out there on the street.
But he was there. He was there. Maybe she did. We don't. I don't know whether she did not try to throw hot water on him. Really, only he knows that, because it's hard to discern based on the video whether she was trying to or not. Shouldn't you just presume him innocent unless proven guilty? No, man. His temperament is one that when he has to go deal with stressful situations. He's gonna bring the situation to a point where it doesn't need to be. That's possible. So I don't know. That's possible. I don't know how his training was or whatever. Do you think it was a race thing? No, I don't. I don't think it was a race thing. Do you think that black women? Do you think that black women don't get respect in this country? Man, I don't. Man, look, everybody don't get respect. That's true. Yeah, people are disrespectful and evil. I'm with you on that. But some people are not honest, though. A lot of people aren't honest. Yeah, I wouldn't. See things. I wouldn't. I'm not saying that the cop was honest or lied. Say again. Some people just take their side because they feel that's what they're supposed to do. Right. You know, that they'll down the hill for someone else's beliefs. Yeah. And not be just be honest. True. Because man, a lot of blacks will feel like, oh, there's racism, and they'll just say it, not really knowing or knowing that it's not. That's just because politicized. Just because of pressure. It's not just politics. It is the pressure from other more radical blacks, angry, radical, bully blacks, if you will, who like. Don't you think that goes both ways though? Oh yeah, there's a lot of point out the blacks. Yeah. I mean, there's a pressure among the anti-cop element among the whites, or the not even necessarily anti-cop, but just cop suspicious whites, who are like, most of the time blacks bring this on themselves, but this time the cop was wrong. The cops are getting out of control, and there's a pressure to. There's always a pressure, whichever group that you're on, with the group mindset, to not to be an individual. For sure. I just think it could have been handled differently. You know. What do you say, Bigg Bump? He's gonna say whatever you want him to say. No, he's not.
What are you talking about?
You're just making
it me saying thing. When I say something, I say it, not no one else. So.
Well, go ahead and give your opinion. I want to hear it. That's why I called.
I mean, I I just told you in a sense how I see it.
I'm talking Hake's question. Hake's question.
About what was your question, Hake?
Say it again, Hake.
Which question? I was asking.
I made him forget.
Yeah, I asked. Do you think that she threw it at? Do you think that she was trying to throw it at him? I forget if I asked. I forget if I even asked.
I have no
question.
clue.
I forgot myself.
Do you see? Well, I mean the pressure to agree or disagree. There's the anti-cop thing. There is, I don't know.
But you know, man, a lot of white people aren't just on the side of the cop this time. They're like,
I know that.
They're like, this guy screwed up. And then, you know, a lot of the cops and stuff, like, they immediately gave him that charge of first-degree murder. So they know something that we don't know, whether it's their policy on how to deal with certain situations or whatever. Like, he done something he wasn't supposed to do. And
don't you think that's potentially because of politics, because of the pressure? Yeah, because a lot of times people get charged with crazy stuff. George Zimmerman got charged with murder.
And he was wrong.
He may have been wrong. He may not have been wrong. I don't think he was wrong. But do you think that he should have been charged with murder when the prosecutors should have known that they couldn't get him on murder?
Well, see, I'm not really into law like that, and I don't know how it works.
They weren't even going
to. I'm into right and wrong.
But you also just said that he got charged with murder,
and so therefore he must have done something wrong.
Right.
The cop talking about the cop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's cops holding cops accountable. You said from the pressure of the public or whatever.
Yeah.
But then you brought up the story about Zimmerman. I think that's a completely different story.
No, but the point about bringing up Zimmerman is that he wasn't even charged in the first place, and then they charged him with murder all of a sudden after the outcry, and they made it a international story. That's an example of making it charges being brought not because of justice, not because they thought it was just, but because of pressure.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, I believe that had something that was racial. That story right there, and I think.
Why? Because Trayvon hates white people?
Because when he gave the description, he was saying this guy looks suspicious, got a hood on. I think he's black.
No. Did you know that he was asked whether he was black? He was asked by the 911 operator whether he was black.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, see, this is the presentation of the news. They edit stuff to make stuff look racial when it's not.
He was also told to stop following as well.
There's no evidence that he continued to follow him.
Well, how did he meet back up with Trayvon? Trayvon was on foot. This guy was in a vehicle, and got out of his car.
It's speculated that Trayvon doubled back to confront him.
No, because the guy got out of his car. The guy's following him in a car, and then the guy got out of his car with his gun. So he was looking for trouble. He was trying to be some type of hero for his community.
I mean, that's sometimes what a. I don't know if what you're saying is true. That's sometimes what
true. It's true.
No, but there's no evidence that he continued to follow him. Is the bottom line, and there is speculation from his girlfriend, Trayvon's girlfriend, that she doubled back to confront him, and he has a right to follow somebody. They just said we don't need you to do that, and he said okay. And it did sound like he was in a truck, so I'm not disputing that. I don't know if he was or not. And he may have gotten out of his truck to kind of hang out in the area waiting for police to arrive. Why would you want to sit in an uncomfortable car?
He should have went home. He should have went home and minded his business.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
That guy was in his neighborhood. Listen, hey, if I'm walking in my neighborhood at night, okay, where I pay my mortgage, and somebody's following me.
Trayvon didn't pay any mortgage. Trayvon didn't even belong in that area.
I don't care about that.
Trayvon was suspended from school, in trouble, suspended from school, living with his father and his father's girlfriend for a bit, and he was looking suspicious. And so George Zimmerman had the right to be hanging out in the area waiting for police to come.
Listen, I look suspicious. Bigg Bump, you look suspicious.
No. You're just making an assumption just because you're black.
No.
You have no idea how Trayvon was acting that night.
Suspicious.
No.
But we know what he was
Trayvon,
doing. He wasn't out robbing.
You don't know
nobody.
what he was doing?
They showed him at the store, right?
They showed him at the store,
he was
getting the
coming back
drugs,
from the store,
getting the
coming back from the store,
getting
going,
the lean ingredients.
Man, shut up, hey.
Well, you don't know that he was not getting lean ingredients. It was lean ingredients.
You don't know what. Look, you don't know what he was doing. You just.
He got his watermelon cocktail, Arizona watermelon cocktail.
Look at this.
He had his Skittles that you pour into the watermelon cocktail with the Robitussin. I don't know. He might have been trying to do that.
Don't
And
be
he
an
might have been
idiot,
peeking
man.
in windows. He had burglary. He had been caught with burglary tools and women's jewelry in his backpack before. You don't know
all the
what he
stuff
was
you're
doing to
doing
make
right
himself. No. You claim that he was doing
You're
nothing but
making this
being
stuff
black.
up.
No, you're
made
making.
all that stuff
I did
up.
not make anything up.
You
Everything
said
that I
he could have
said.
been doing this.
Right.
You said he could have been doing that.
Right.
He could have been doing. You making it up. Like,
You're making
you
up
don't
that
know.
you're making up
You're
that he
making it
was.
up.
You're making up that he was just black, and that's why he looked suspicious, which is stupid.
Yes.
You're
But
making
see,
that up.
You ain't lived. Listen, you ain't lived black though before.
I
So
know,
you
but I've
don't know
seen
this.
black people,
You're
and I've seen
always-
suspicious black people, and I've seen non-suspicious black people. Trayvon to George Zimmerman looked suspicious, and you're making an assumption because you don't know what you're talking about.
My life experiences, multiple times, I'm the suspicious guy. No matter how well mannered I am, I'm suspicious, and
And do you?
I
And
don't-
why
I
are
don't
why are you
appreciate it.
suspicious? Is that because of other blacks committing crimes?
Yeah, but that doesn't apply to me.
Yeah.
You got to look at me
Right.
as an individual.
Yeah.
I know, but other people don't know that you're a nice individual who follows the law.
So am I supposed to look at all white people as those Nazis that are in Nashville acting a fool? Am I supposed to look at all white people like that? What kind of
If you want to,
place would this be if everybody does that?
if you want to, you can do that. But you have no idea whether George Zimmerman, who has helped he helped tutor black kids, he voted
He
for
didn't do crap.
he voted for Obama. All these things are according to reports that I remember
He didn't
hearing.
do crap.
You're just now you just don't want to you just don't want to accept
He went-
reality.
He went to.
You want to
he
make
went
an
to jail.
assumption because you hate white people,
He went to jail afterward,
right?
showing his true character, man. Like, y'all white people upped him and had so much, I ain't going to say respect, but
You had no idea
Y'all-
that it was not racial. You fell for
It
the
was
lie that he just voluntarily said, "I think he's black," and you didn't know that the mainstream media had edited that story, that had edited that 911 call to cut out where they ask his race. Is he black? Is he
sound like you
Hispanic?
gotta-
Is he white?
you sound like that's a conspiracy theory.
No,
Like
that's
you know
that's
more than everybody
literally
else.
no. Everybody knows this who was paying attention, but you only listened to the mainstream media at that point. You weren't listening to the Jesse Lee Peterson show in
Man,
2012
nobody, man, listen, that's the last person I would listen to.
because
Jesse
you
Lee
don't like the
Peterson.
truth.
It ain't the truth.
You
He
don't
just
like
got
fair
y'all
and balanced.
hypnotized. He got y'all hypnotized, man.
No, you're hypnotized by the
I'm
fake
not
race thing.
hypnotized.
Yes, you are. You want to assume that Trayvon was merely black with a hoodie on, not looking
Listen,
suspicious other than that,
All he
which
did
is
was
plenty to be
protect
suspicious,
himself.
by the way.
All he did was protect himself, man. He was scared,
No, you
man.
didn't.
He
No,
had
you
people-
don't know that.
Got somebody following you at night.
A
I put
creepy A
myself in his
cracker.
shoes. I would've
He
did
called
the
him a
same
creepy
thing.
A cracker.
Yeah. If somebody's following you,
Right.
go ahead. If somebody's following you, man, look, that is kind of creepy, man.
Right, and he
Like, get
maybe
off my
he was
back,
looking
man.
creepy himself. Maybe he was projecting.
Yeah. Who was projecting?
Trayvon.
Zimmerman?
Trayvon.
Zimmerman
Trayvon.
had to be.
Trayvon had to be.
Well, I got a son now.
So you're
I got a
biased.
son now.
And are you brainwashing your son to be
Time
in
out.
this
Did you-
racism victimhood?
Did you just call me biased, man?
Yeah, you're biased
Are you biased?
for the truth. Yes.
So, perfect. You're perfect, man.
Thank you.
You guys are perfect.
This has been fun.
Hey, man, I
you
ain't
have
got
any
no more
last words
time
for
to
him?
sit around and be clowned, huh?
Nah, not really. I just made my point about it.
I got sucked into the George Zimmerman, Trayvon Martin thing. Gets me heated. Thank you,
Go
John in
ahead,
Kentucky.
Big Bump. Go ahead, Big Bump. Say your last words. You ain't got no last words?
He doesn't
I
have
was just
anything
gonna
for
say that
He's not sucked in.
it's possible. If you want to live in that world, that everything could have been different. You're right. Anything could have happened, but that's not what happened.
Regarding Trayvon or
regarding
this woman?
Grayson Massey issue.
Yeah.
whatever that means. I don't even understand what you said, but whatever that means. Y'all have a good one, man.
All right.
Yeah.
John in Kentucky. What a mess. Let's get to David in Ocala, Florida, regarding this story. David, what's up? How you doing, man?
What's happening?
Hey, not much.
And you got drug into a bottomless pit on that
I
call.
know, my bag. I'm a mouth breather. It's not good.
Hey, I didn't ever think I'd get to talk to Bigg Bump personally, and I just want to ask him something real quick before I go into the Sonya Massey thing.
Okay.
There's a little video that these people put on. It's about a 3 or 4 second video clip of it looks like it came from either a movie or a music video, and it looks like about a 20 to 25-year-old version of you, Bigg Bump, wearing a green LA Kings hat. Have you ever seen that video? Do you know what I'm talking about? Is that you?
LA Kings hat? The hockey team?
Like the LA Kings team, okay, like a ball cap, like you're wearing right now. Looks like you would have been about 20 years old, 25 years old, tops.
I don't know. I have a green and yellowish. It's a green. Yeah. I don't know what picture. I don't know if, let's see, 25 years.
Were you in like a video, in videos before, or a movie?
Not movie. Videos.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Videos.
anyway, I always wanted to ask you that. Anyhow.
My bag, people. I had to turn up his volume. I had your volume low there. Go ahead.
Okay. Hey, John in Kentucky, I agree with you. Okay. Here, that cop's racist. He killed that woman. Okay. I watched the video. I grew up with those kind of people, Hake, okay?
Racist?
He's real. He's serious.
I had to fight those kind of guys as a kid. That's why I'm the way I am. That guy's evil, okay?
How do you figure
Wicked.
How do you figure that he's racist, first of all? You made a claim that...
Because of the way he, first off...
You're talking about Sean Grayson, who was forced to shoot this black woman, this seemingly going through mental issues... what was her name? Sonya Massey, who was forced to shoot her in the face when she picked up the pot of water, again, after putting it down and crouching down. She picked it up, had it over her head, and he was forced to shoot her. And he's racist? For what? Where do you get racism?
Let me tell you something, Hank. Hey, you must have led a sheltered life because... you got no street smarts, okay? That guy is freaking... I can tell by looking at that dude. He's evil, wicked. First off, he should have never come into her house.
Why not? Wait. Why shouldn't he have come into her house? You didn't explain the racism part.
Because he didn't have any right to walk into her house. Okay?
Wait, how do you figure she didn't... she called 911 and said, I have a prowler. He's not supposed to go into her house?
Well, she left the front door open and they walked in, but the pot was on the other side of the counter. He said, we don't want to fire, blah, blah, blah.
Do you know police? Where do you get this? He shouldn't have gone into the... You called him racist. You haven't proven that.
He shouldn't have went into her house to protect himself, okay, from something like that going down. I mean, she went over, she took the pot off the stove, she went to go pour it out in the sink. That's what she was doing because she picked up 2 pot things so she wouldn't burn herself. And if that guy's scared of an old woman with a pot of water...
She's not old. She's 36, dude.
Well, that's old enough. She looked old.
That's old enough to do some damage.
Dude, I grew up with those kind of people. We had his twin, okay, a deputy sheriff here in the state of Florida that was planting crystal meth in people's cars. He had over 60 arrest.
And so you're putting this is not literally this man's twin brother, obviously.
It looks just like him. Okay, this guy.
It sounds like you're putting you're bringing up my upbringing, saying that I must have been sheltered, but it sounds like your childhood trauma of dealing with punks who became cops is biasing your impression of what went down.
No, I can tell by looking at the dude. He's massive. He probably was doing roids. I mean, he was pumped up pretty good. And and he's under stress. I know he's under stress. But you don't got to pull a gun out like that. You just step back about 5 feet and tell her, hey, what are you doing? She fell down on the ground on the floor in the kitchen because she was scared of him. Why the heck do you think she said, I rebuke this in the name of Jesus?
Do you think she was crazy?
He murdered that woman.
Okay, do you think she was crazy?
No, I'm not going to say she's crazy.
Do you think she was possibly going through mental issues?
Only because of the news media. See, that's the thing. See,
No, answer the question. Do you think she was going through mental issues?
I don't know for sure if she was. I'm not her doctor, okay?
You don't have to be a doctor to think that she might be going through mental issues.
I don't trust the news media painting that picture.
Did you see the video with how she talked? Because I didn't hear how she talked. I just read the quotes.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. She was just scared. You know, the problem with the cop, he was upset that they didn't find nobody. And she told him, hey, listen, you know, there was somebody out there. And he's like, well, there's nobody out. He treated her terrible from the get-go, okay? All right? And
so, you know, you can rattle off all the bad things that the man did, but you can't name off anything that the woman did to cause...
She didn't do nothing wrong. He was in her house, okay? You know, he came into her house.
Which she invited him in, right?
Well, it doesn't matter. He's not, you know, he just disrespectful. Man, like I told you.
I don't know if she literally invited him in, but she called the cops. She had the door open. They come in. Whether that was ill-advised or not, I don't know. You say it's a bad idea for his own safety.
Yeah,
admitting that she could have posed a threat, because hot water is nothing to sneeze at.
That's the biggest joke in the world, dude.
What?
I mean, why do you think they arrested him?
Hot water is a joke?
The whole thing.
I think they arrested him. I think they arrested him because of the fake race issue and phony politics.
I'm saying, man. That's why I think sometimes, man, you led a sheltered life. Anyway, forget that.
No. You made the claim. You can't prove that he was racist.
See,
you just made that up out of nowhere.
I didn't make anything up.
Yeah, you did. You made a whole lot of stuff up. You said that he was
you shoot a woman in the eye with a gun, dude.
Because you're concerned for your life, maybe? Or maybe you just are too jumpy.
Boiling water is going to kill you. And
it doesn't have to be great bodily harm. Great bodily harm. Scalding water is not a joke. Go ahead, Bigg Bump.
Let me ask you this. Because, like John was asking me, it just reminded me of what I did want to say. That do you think that the boiling water was an issue enough for him to kill her?
No, I think he should have just stepped back about 5 feet and told her, look, you know, whatever, put the pot down.
He did. Right? So when she picked it back up, boiling water can cause someone to be maimed tremendously, like crazy. And the person doing it knows what they're doing. Like it was said, I don't know if she threw it or not. I just knew that it was facing the camera, that you can see the open pot and then you can see the steam from the water.
She put it down when instructed to, and then she got back up and picked it back up. That's cause for concern.
Well,
I think you're the sheltered one.
An automatic thing, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that was just a natural reaction for her to, pick up that pot of water.
That makes no sense.
Not again. She's
only a natural thing for a crazy person. I think you have this. Sense? I think you have a bias because you're one of these.
In the eye socket, dude. Okay.
What difference does it make? Like he has perfect aim in that heated moment that he's going to shoot her specifically in the eye socket. Is that a racist shoot or what?
Listen, let me ask you something.
Where do you get racism? Where do you get racism from this?
I'm not saying he's racist.
Yeah, you did. That's the first thing you said about him.
Oh, yeah, I did say he's racist.
Yeah.
I thought you meant about the pot of water. No, he's just, man, dude, those kind of people are all down here in the South, man.
Where do you get that he's racist?
Because he had an attitude the whole time talking to her, man. He mistreated her from the get-go. He didn't want to be there, okay? He didn't want to be there is what it is.
But where do you get that he's racist? Just because he had an attitude the whole time that he's there?
Well, I just feel that he was racist the way he treated her. Anyway, the climate
Wait. Based on what? Based on the fact that she's black and he's white?
No, just because of my impression.
You have zero, but you can't even name one thing that he did that indicated that it was a racial attitude.
His whole attitude, Hake,
I know, but you didn't. A lot of people have attitude towards people.
People is what I'm telling you, man.
Somebody told me some people are racist, Hake. Why do you think that? Oh, May Teb says some cops are racist, Hake. Meaning that they notice things about blacks. They notice blacks are oftentimes a problem. Black women are oftentimes having crazy attitudes or crazy. Black men, young men, and young people are often crazy. I think that you guys are the ones who are sheltered, meaning you don't know how blacks are and how what cops have to deal with. And that makes cops. I know, but you didn't grow up having to deal with black crime the way that cops have had to deal with black crime. The cops become quote unquote racist because they're dealing with the reality of out of control blacks.
I understand that.
So then why are you calling them racist when
you're a woman, man? What if that was your aunt or something?
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, what would you do about it if that was your aunt?
I have no idea. If my aunt was crazy, was crazy like that, I don't know.
Well, before we go, can I just say something real quick about climate change? I don't want to keep you on the phone
forever
or nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. The climate change, it's a cult. Okay, just like Bigg Bump
No, I disavow that.
Okay, well, here's
go ahead,
the thing.
But go ahead, make your point.
And that's why they're.
I'm disavowing this,
right?
YouTube.
Okay, that's why they're possessed. Okay, because it's that way. And see, what people don't realize, in the 70s, they said we were going to have an ice age within 10 years and run out of gasoline. This whole thing is all about control. Okay, that's all and the news media is the one that's indoctrinating these people into believing all this, because this wasn't going on 20 years ago. They've been pumping this for 20, it finally got through. They started pumping it in the 70s and early 80s, but nobody would listen to them.
They were talking about the ice age.
Right. So now they're pumping it, and it's all about control. And if you don't believe in climate change, something's wrong with you. You believe in it?
Yeah, I believe in it. There's something wrong with me, but I believe in it. I don't believe in their solutions to it. I'll tell you that much, though. I do not trust their solutions. And I don't necessarily believe that all of their diagnoses are definitely not their predictions, because nobody knows the future. There's all kinds of stuff.
So what do you think about AOC saying she wants all electric cars in 11 years? See how delusional these people are? They're absolutely insane.
I'm with her. We just need to go to
You're
nuclear.
With her?
Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
You like her, don't you? You're attracted
she's cute.
to her, aren't you?
Yeah, she's cute, but no, I'm not.
I wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole.
You're smart.
Yeah, no.
No, you're smart on
that. So the next thing that's coming, dude,
I take it back. You're not crazy.
Wait until that's all right. I am crazy. Wait until they bring out the digital currency. That's next. That's how they're going to control y'all people. Hopefully, I'll be dead by then.
You're crazy. I disavow that. I disavow that just on a personal level. To be hoping that you're dead by the time they do a digital currency.
Digital currency comes out, I do, on 59 in December, man. I've had enough of these people, because even if Trump wins, can you imagine what the news media is going to be like for 4 years after he wins?
We'll see what happens. We'll see if Trump wins. I don't know, man.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for letting me come on today.
Yeah, definitely. Interesting call, man. David and Ocala.
All right. Y'all have a great day.
All right. You too. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Wow. Man. Let's see if we can do something efficiently, and then get back to calls. Harley Davidson. Can we talk about Harley Davidson? Oh no, we brought up the pot of boiling water. Explain your point about this.
So, well, first let me preface it. So when I was listening, when I heard people say, the cop said, "I'll shoot you in your face."
Mm-hmm.
Cops, I've noticed cops always announce what they're going to do. They say, "Hey, put it down, do this, do that."
Strong warnings.
Right. Yeah, some authority. And that's what happened. That's one thing that happened.
And that's not an indictment.
Right.
That's not even evidence towards either way.
Right. Yeah.
They act like it was something.
Right. They make it to be more than
was nothing.
What it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just announce what they're going to do. I've seen it over and over.
Yeah.
All the Whatever shooting it is or whatever situation it is, taser, things like that. They say what they're going to do for whatever that happens. Also, the media did play a trick with the. Initially, they said that he didn't have his cam on, his body cam wasn't on.
Okay.
But
he did have it on.
He did have it on.
That's true. We saw that was his. That's true. He did have it on.
Right. So that was that. I was like, oh.
Either they played a trick or they were too quick to say something that wasn't true.
Right. That was just odd initially. As I heard it, I said, oh, okay, he didn't have his body cam
Media
on.
doesn't have the facts. They get the facts
don't.
wrong a
Right.
lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember that happened with Darren Wilson. They claimed that he didn't know. Darren Wilson was the one who shot Mike Brown, the gentle giant in Ferguson, Missouri. They claimed that Darren Wilson did not know about this strong arm robbery in the store in which Darren Wilson shoved. I don't know if it was a robbery or not, but he shoved the store clerk who tried to get in front of him and shoved him into a display.
Mm-hmm.
And he saw the Swisher Sweets in his hand.
Yeah.
The tongue twister. She sells seashells down by the seashore. He saw the Swisher Sweets in his hand after he said, hey, get the blip out of the road, the middle of the road, because he was walking in the middle of the road like he owned the place. Mm-hmm. And he did know about that incident because he saw it. Mm-hmm. But the media falsely reported that he didn't know about it. I specifically remember, and I remember they made an assumption based off of what the cop said, if I'm remembering correctly, because the police chief or whoever, I don't know if it was chief, but he said, the captain or maybe, he said, I don't have information on whether he knew it or not, or something like that. He didn't know whether the cop knew.
Right.
But the
now I'm remembering
the mainstream media said that he didn't know, and it turned out in the final report that he did know.
Right. I'm remembering that.
Anyway, fake news,
right?
Or they're too quick to report stuff.
Yeah.
It's not
and
true.
People get that ingrained in their head, and when they don't,
and it stays.
Yeah, it stays. It doesn't.
It reminds me of the Adele thing. I'm interrupting him, but Adele, she's like, "Oh, did you say pride stinks?"
Mm. Oh, right. I know what you mean.
Even on that guy's channel, it got 67,000 views. On the correction, oh no, actually he said work stinks. On the correction, it got 6,000.
6,000. Yeah.
Less than 10% of the people got the real story, and many of those people still didn't want to believe it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's exactly.
You're not going to get
the
truth.
Right. Yeah.
The lie is more explosive and powerful. And you heard John in Kentucky believe that George Zimmerman made it racial. Oh, he's black. I think he's black. Like he volunteered that info. He's suspicious. He's wearing a hood. I think he's black.
Right. Yeah. It's like the newspaper. They'll put a story up, and then when it's retracted, it's in the back of the page. The very last page. Yep. No one's going to go to the very back of the page. You may get the 10%.
Viral tweets, even when you tweet a correction, you can't make that correction. You can't make that correction more. Even if you wanted to, you can't make it more relevant, more popular.
Yeah, right.
Than the viral wrong tweet.
Right. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
People are going to stick on and latch on to.
They love lies.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and a lot of people are saying this is the point, that it's just hot water. It's just boiling water or whatever.
Yeah.
Boiling water can do a lot of bodily harm. There was a family member. At the time, she was young, like not even 2 yet. Her father, something happened. It was just the father and then the daughter at home. The mother was out with the oldest son. Something happened. He was in the Marines. Initially, I thought that it was like maybe like a PTSD issue, where allegedly he took hot water out of the microwave, and it dropped on the daughter.
Wow.
Whatever happened, I don't really know. And this was back east somewhere. I just so happened to go back that way, and it and I'm trying not to dox anyone,
Right.
that everything changed. It changed everything. I went to the hospital to see her at a very popular hospital for kids. I seen the damage it did to her, the damage it did to him as far as it took him to jail immediately.
Whoa.
No questions asked. Took the kids away. I was there when they took the kids away. I went to the facility or the county, wherever it was at, department.
So Child
welfare.
Protective
Yeah,
Services took the
yeah,
kids.
Yeah. While the daughter was still at the hospital, they took the son at the moment, so they put him away. The mother wasn't around at the time of the situation, so they let her. She didn't. There was no repercussions. The situation was that supposedly also that they didn't take her to the hospital immediately.
Oh.
I don't know if they had two vehicles at the time, but the mother was gone. So I guess her legs were messed up. I don't know fully, but he went to prison for 2 years.
Whoa.
Like I said he was a Marine. Of course, he got discharged. And the kids were in the system maybe for another 2 years. They were able to see him in and out, visit. I think about 2 years. When he finally got out, I think that's when they relaxed everything. But the boiling water did a job on her. Like I said, I don't know if it was the case. It seemed at the time, I have no idea now. It seemed at the time that because all he did was, he's a killer. He was a sniper type individual. So
yeah,
that's the only job he ever had, was being a Marine. And he was young. They just got out of, they just graduated maybe 2 years prior. So he was in the Marines 2 years at the time. And so the reason I'm saying this is because he did time for the boiling water at whatever situation it was.
Yeah.
Whatever, if it was, there were rumors of him putting her in a tub of hot water. For the burns, it doesn't seem like that was the case. It seems like it was something else maybe. And, but at the hospital, you could see her legs were shaved. They had to remove all, they had to graft her up.
Wow.
And it, to denounce that, what I'm saying is to denounce the whole situation of boiling water not being a threat is disingenuous. It's not, you can't just write it off as that's it. So for that situation to happen, as far as the Grace and Massey situation, whether you've been burnt with hot water or not, that it's a threat. Yeah. That's the point that I wanted to make. That someone lost. The family, they divorced. He has a different family now.
Whoa.
So yeah, it changed a whole. And this was almost happened nearly 9 years ago from this situation.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm looking up this. I searched something about scalding water danger, and Mr. Reuter Plumbing says, long before it reaches the point of boiling, water can be hot enough to cause serious injuries. Just 3 seconds of exposure to scalding hot water, 140 degrees Fahrenheit, can result in a severe burn that requires surgery. Mm-hmm. What is the boiling point of water? Do you know? Is it 200 something?
Is it 212?
Oh, wow. Water boiling.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Point temperature. 212.
212, okay.
See, Bigg Bump knows. Wow. So 140 degrees. That's far below. That's far below 140 is far below 212.
Right.
What is that in Celsius centigrade? Do you know your conversions?
I know you subtract
140 F to C. 60 degrees Celsius. Let's hear about 212. 212 is 100 degrees. Oh, we already knew that 100 degrees Celsius is the boiling point of water. Duh. So 140 is just mere 60 degrees Celsius. Dang. Wow. Interesting, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's quite a story.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we covered that.
Right.
Pretty
Thanks.
brutal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
And it's not the water that did that, but it's just the seriousness of
exactly.
the situation. She had to get skin grafts.
Yeah.
How was this? Like a 4-year-old or older, a little bit younger?
Almost 2 at the time.
Oh, wow,
She
okay.
was turning 2.
Yeah.
So there were, at that time, all type of things ran through my mind. Like she probably, while he was taking it out, and he's taller, so and like I said, I went to the house while we were there, and I seen what the microwave was. You know, so I was like, oh man, maybe he had it. She startled him, and it spilled on her.
Hake literally knows nothing. Science with Hake and Bigg Bump.
The science hour.
If they put sugar in the water, it will be the same as an acid attack, says Falconine.
Huh.
Ban scalding water. Yeah. Do you know that young lady today, out of curiosity?
Yeah, I do. I haven't seen her in a while.
Yeah.
Maybe since 2019. I really haven't been back that area.
Yeah.
Since 2019, but I know.
Interesting,
I know
man.
Her, yeah, she seems to be doing okay. I noticed one point by seeing videos of her dancing that she wears higher socks, like all the time. Every video I see her, yeah.
Because the skin on her legs is not normal, beautiful skin. It's scarred.
Yeah.
It's a skin graft.
Yeah.
That's wild that they did it to a 2-year-old and now
Yeah.
she's grown up, and the body. Does she have to take anything to so that her body doesn't reject that? Because skin grafts, is that her own skin that's grafted, or how does that work?
That I wouldn't know.
Because it's not somebody else's skin. Otherwise, you'd have to take something that your body doesn't reject somebody else's skin.
See, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. And I don't know how much of it that they did have to use or whatever. But yeah, they and I don't know if I remember seeing pictures of after when it happened, or like a couple hours after before they went to the hospital. But for some reason, I remember seeing like boils or whatever. If that's what you want to use. Blisters or something. Yeah. So on both legs, they did it at the same exact level on each leg. How they scraped it, at least how they scraped the skin off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Omid says 210 degrees. Thank you, Omid. I just saw that. Wow.
Yeah. So again, that just comes down to that's a threat.
For sure.
Yeah. So.
Indeed. Well, I have at least a couple more calls, and then hopefully we can get to this Harley Davidson story, and and some super chats. Goodness. All right, let's do what we can here, guys. Chuck in New Jersey is on the line here. Chuck, thank you for calling and holding there, man. What's up with you?
Hey, Hake, how you doing? Bigg Bump, how's it going?
I'm well. How are you?
Oh, not bad.
Right.
I originally had called to talk about Kamala Harris, but you guys were talking about climate change. It's something that I...
Stay close to your phone. You're coming in a little rough, like you're on speakerphone and you're not close to your phone or something.
Well, I'm in my car.
Okay, are you on Bluetooth or something?
Yeah, I'm on a Bluetooth thing in my
okay,
car.
we'll try to make it work. Go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me good now?
I can hear you okay.
Okay, great. When it comes to climate change, I'm more concerned about air pollution as opposed to climate change. I think climate change is real, but
me too.
Air pollution is more my concern than anything else. And with the initiative that's been put forth regarding electric cars and whatnot, it's kind of a one-sided issue if you're not going to add in the mix other alternatives like hydrogen and so forth, and synthetic fuels. If you're not going to do that, then we're going to be back in the same boat we are with fossil fuels. The fact of the matter is that we have the capability to use hydrogen. We have the capability to make synthetic fuels out there in your neck of the woods, out there in California right now, in San Francisco. ConocoPhillips has set up a synthetic fuel that converted over one of their refineries to make synthetic fuels. And hydrogen is certainly a fuel that we won't run out of. It's not a fuel that anybody's going to go to war over. It could help to, if we can run it in internal combustion engines. It requires, a minimal amount of switching over from gas to burn hydrogen. In fact, it's being done right now in many parts of the world, specifically in England with a company by the name of JCB. And here in New Jersey, where I live, is a project that's been going on now, I guess, about 10, 12 years, called the Hydrogen House Project.
Interesting, man. Have you heard about any of this stuff, Bigg Bump?
Just the hydrogen vehicles, things of that nature. That's the most, really.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, with respect to fossil fuels, and Hake, you know this, and everybody.
I disavow the term fossil fuels.
Well, that's what it is.
That's what they call it, but I don't know if it's
it's
come from fossils. They claim that, but whatever. Anyway, go ahead.
That's the terminology that they use.
Right.
But let's face facts. I mean, we're dealing with a fuel source that the whole world uses right now, and frankly, we've sent our young men and women off to war to fight to maintain a certain amount of availability of this fuel. And
allegedly.
Allegedly?
Yeah.
Allegedly? No,
right.
You can't say allegedly.
Yeah, huh?
Well, yeah, you can say it. You're the freedom to say whatever you want.
Yeah.
But
because Trump said if we really fought for the oil, we should have kept the oil. But we didn't keep the oil. We pretended like we fought for democracy. And we fought against terrorism. So I think that's why I say allegedly. We should have, what a mess. Anyway, interesting call, man. I got to keep it moving. But you got your point in.
Yes.
It's an interesting point for sure. Thank you, Chuck in New Jersey.
Go ahead. One last point before I go about the shooting.
Thank you.
If I were the police sergeant or the authorities that were looking into this, the one thing that the cops have in their favor is metadata from the video, and that will tell you just about everything you need to know about this shooting.
Huh.
That's inherent in all videos that are taken, especially those body cams. I had a friend that was a cop that went to church with me, and he was asking me about it, and I told him, I said, metadata is inherent. It's built into most digital cameras that are available today.
Meaning where it happened, when it happened, and stuff like that?
Yeah, where it happened, GPS, it has GPS built into it. It gives you the parameters of the camera, whether or not it was using a certain lens, so on and so forth. And the guys in your studio there, they know what I'm talking about.
No, I kind of know what it is. You go into file info, and that's the metadata.
Yes.
I don't see how that'll help them ascertain whether this was a good shoot or not, but interesting, man, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you what, they'll bring it up in a courtroom.
Oh.
And all that information.
Oh, they can say,
available.
This was not AI manipulated or anything like that.
Well, no, it wasn't AI. It wasn't AI manipulated.
Right.
They could bring that in there, and the metadata, as long as that camera's recording, the metadata is telling the metadata is actually recording everything that camera sees.
Okay.
And it'll tell you whether or not, how it was shot, what lens was used, even the parameters of the lenses and all on the camera.
Nice. Well, thank you for the info, Chuck. Appreciate you calling and holding there, man.
Okay, man. You take care.
All right. You as well. Bye.
Bigg Bump. Talk to you later.
Right on.
Speaking of the shooting, a couple of super chats. Donnie Girl's idea with a Rumble rant says, you can't defend the guilty for being harmed because of their actions. It's not how you look, it's how you act. Caller is great, but overly paranoid. And I'm not sure if which caller she was talking about, whether it was David overly paranoid or whether it was John potentially overly paranoid or what. I forget who else called. I wrote it down. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the only two callers. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You kind of bring stuff on. That's why I said she got herself shot.
Yeah.
On some level, she's to blame for what happened to her. You can also blame the cop. I'm not saying the cop was right or wrong.
Right.
Walking on water with a diamond. Happy birthday, Hake. Thank you, man. I got Bigg Bump for my birthday stream. Right. A week and a couple days later. DJ on Paul says, BB, Bigg Bump. Do you know any Christian fascists? If so, elaborate. Or elaborate on what Christian fascism is, if you happen to know.
No, I see that, and I see that a fascist is atheist. And that's it. I remember, that's what I said, I think there was a chat somewhere that brought it up, and I said, oh, there aren't any Christian fascists. It could have been the same person.
Yeah.
And, that's what it is.
A fascist is an atheist?
Yes.
So fascism, according to Bill Lockwood, is just to the right of communism.
Okay.
Is what he said.
Okay.
It's pretty far left.
I can go with that, yeah. But they continuously say that it's not, that it's far right.
Right.
Far right fascism.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's left.
Is it left? I know that there are fasces. Mm-hmm. It's basically sticks tied together
bundle,
to be strong.
Right.
When they're bound together, the sticks together are stronger than any single stick, and the amount of single sticks. And that's on the Lincoln Memorial. And there's fasces in some of the American symbology. So is that sort of atheist and leftist? I learned this, by the way, from Asmodor, who's Christian.
Okay.
And I think he likes the fascism thing a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he was fascist. He's rest in peace, Asmodor.
Yeah.
He died.
Right.
And I knew another guy who said that who described himself as a fascist. But I don't know if he knew what he was talking about or what. Because at one point he said that Netanyahu was behind 9/11, and I asked him about it later. He's like, oh, no, I don't know that. So he may just be talking.
Yeah. From what I've read and gathered, that's a trademark of fascism is being an atheist.
Oh.
I can, next time I'll find exactly where that I kept, seeing that the first time I saw it and then kept seeing it, but that's a trademark of fascism.
Now, there's a lot of Christians who fall to communist ideology and liberalism, and it's not Christian to be that, but a lot of them fall into it because of, they confuse the mama spirit with godly compassion, stuff like that.
Jesus now thing or whatever.
Yeah,
like that type,
And so are there Christians who are falling to fascist ideology, or are they calling it fascist, but it's different from... Fascism started with, is it an Italian term? Mussolini was the first fascist, or the most, or was he just the most successful one who made it work for?
I think he's
a little bit.
That's what it is. The most prominent, the person that succeeded in that.
Yeah.
Up until death.
Americans liked it for a while.
Yeah.
Time Magazine.
That. Yeah.
I think Time Magazine. Would Hitler have been considered a fascist on some level? He was nationalist socialist, right?
I would say maybe not. Maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe not.
Was FDR a communist or fascist or a little bit of both? Because he was called both. The communists called him a fascist, and the normal people called him a communist. Or, I don't know. Some people did.
That's a good one. I think, I I think they all take from basically each one of them. You know, you can see the parallels where they are.
They have similar values.
Yeah, yeah. So I also Hitler also may have had, you know, those fascist something.
Yeah.
Some ideology from fascism.
What is fascism?
Like corporate government getting involved with the corporations, like, you know, running it through that.
I remember okay, so the commie capitalism. The government and the corporations being in bed with one another.
Yeah.
And against the people, kind of, oftentimes.
Yes. But in essence, it isn't, because it's the republic itself doesn't, the law of the land doesn't have that type of ideology where, you know, it would take over these global corporations, or just the corporations within their nation. They're
multinational corporations, not multi-global yet.
Yeah, right. But they are working on that as well.
Right.
Yeah. If they can't,
Elon Musk is going to make us be the first multi-global corporation.
Yeah, multinational corporations, where it's really outside of the parameters of our Constitution to run corporations like that.
Oh, okay. For the government to be involved in these corporations.
Yeah, that's.
And what about for the
problem.
corporations to be in bed with the government?
I mean, you can have a contract.
Yeah.
You know, with the government. That's legal.
A lot of this stuff isn't contracts, though. It's just this, and this.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
And that's where that commie capitalism comes in, though. And
the whole I think that just the culture is a mess.
Oh yeah.
I heard that fascism is like extreme nationalism or extreme blah blah blah.
That's part of it too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why would somebody call himself a Christian nationalist, a Christian fascist? Because somebody probably does call himself that.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't seem like they're for corporations.
It's not. I don't think they are leaning on it, on the fascist point of view, or being a fascist because they are Christian. It's just they
want to enforce Christianity.
Yeah.
Through like a fascism type of thing.
Yeah, like that.
Okay.
Yeah, use that as a platform for it. But like I said, that Mussolini was an atheist.
Right.
So,
I mean, I accept that. I don't know. I don't know history.
I think even there was the writings, you know, not just me saying anything or someone writing it down. I think he made statements about it. Yeah, they would, a Christian would just lean on it. There's Christians, you know, how they're in everything. They use it. Socialists, like you said, that, what is it? Liberation theology.
Right.
Yeah. Any aspect, but the heart of the real religious situation aspect of fascism is being an atheist.
Yeah,
it is for sure.
Well, I mean, liberation theology, like black liberation theology, you're believing in this worldly identity of your race.
Yeah,
and you're thinking that it's kind of like the Jews wanting the Messiah to set them free from the Romans, being under Roman rule. It was worldly and not spiritual at all.
Yeah, right.
So that is sort of they were atheists. Yeah. They're Christian atheists.
Yeah.
Interesting, man. I see your coffees, guys. Buy me a coffee. Oh, man.
Short on time.
Good, my goodness. Yeah. I would be remiss not to read Popcorn's Thump Cake. He gave this yesterday. Don't give any credence to these people, says Hake. Yesterday I said that after Ben Crump weighed in. He was representing the family of Sonya Massey.
Yeah.
Sounds to me, says Popcorn's Thump Keg, like you're saying that even in the case where a cop is wrong, don't publicly express that? So it sounds like a question. If 1,000 cops are accused of wrongdoing and it turns out that they were in the right each time, that doesn't mean that during the instances where a bad cop does wrong, you let it go or don't talk about it. You always seem very reluctant to say that a cop was wrong when the person who gets shot is black. But when the Capitol officer shot that woman, you said, hey, I don't know about this type of attitude, and pulled out the magnifying glass. So he's trying to act like I have a double standard. With you remember that black Capitol officer who...
Bird.
What was his name again?
Michael Bird.
Michael Bird. B-Y-R-D? He was black.
Yeah, he's black.
African-seeming guy. Capitol Police officer, sort of fat. He left his Glock in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And Glocks don't have a safety. Not saying it was cocked and ready to go, but...
Right.
Yeah, and I said that she even kind of brought that on herself. Was it Ashley Babbitt?
Babbitt, right. She
jumped through that Capitol window, and I argued with my callers that she kind of brought that on herself, even if he was wrong for shooting her. And he may have been wrong for shooting her. I seemed like iffy. If cops were doing that all the time to rioters, then I'd be okay with it because that's what cops do to rioters. Like, you don't riot. She was rioting. On some level, she was jumping through a broken window, acting out of order. When I say don't give credence to these people, I'm acknowledging that the cop may have been wrong. I've been quite clear that I don't know whether the cop was right or wrong. But don't give any credence to evil Ben Crump or these people trying to pretend like this is some big national story when it's a local story.
Right.
It's a local story.
Yeah.
Springfield, Illinois, this is what happened.
Right. That happened there. That's not anyone else's issue.
It's nobody's business.
Yeah.
You can say, oh, it's in the broader context of the cops being out of control. Yeah, I get that, but the blacks are out of control. But nobody talks about that. I mean, we talk about it. A lot of people talk about it, but the mainstream media doesn't.
Yeah, talking.
There's no honesty in the courtroom about it. So thank you, Popcorn's Thumb Cake. No, you're reading into something that I'm saying that's not there. But thank you, man. Okay, man, okay. I will have to read the rest of your super chats another day. Mo Betta, thank you, man. He says, amazing show yesterday. I'll read that later. Based America First, talking about something that happened in Hake News about the Supreme Court and the homeless encampments. Interesting. And he has some criticism about Popcorn's Thump Keg, about seeing the homeless. Very interesting for next week. Thank you, Base America First. And the rest of the supporters. We're at just a few minutes till. I gotta get to CJ in Texas on the line. I feel like he might be able to correct some stuff.
Nice.
What's up, CJ in Texas? How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up? So fascism is pretty much the control of the state through the authority of the state, not a whole bunch of rights or vote. It's like the state has ultimate control and authority, and it will use that ultimate control and authority to order the state as the state wants to be ordered. And when you go up against it, they're going to use force to just make it happen. That's why it's always the counter to communists and the people trying to control everything. And once it gets too liberal and too out of control, then the force comes in and deals with it. And they're not going to care how many protests you do. Fascism answers LGBTQ movements with tanks, which is a good thing. Also, on hydrogen, hydrogen takes energy to make, and you always lose energy in the making of the process of hydrogen. So you're either going to have to build windmills or solar panels, and then you're going to get less energy than you did out of the solar panels and windmills while making hydrogen off of them. And solar panels and windmills are made out of fossil fuels. The only other way to make hydrogen is to burn fossil fuels to make hydrogen. So that whole thing's just freaking retarded.
Can we make nuclear cars? Nuclear energy cars?
Yeah, there's only really three feasible things: fossil fuels, maybe ethanol with subsidized corn, but that's still a net loss overall. So there's really just fossil fuels that you get more energy out of mining it, nuclear fuel, and I think like 4 years ago they finally made fusion give out more energy than they put in. That's it. Everything else is just undereducated, stupid hippy-dippy pipe dreams.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is making an argument out of egotism. So if I ask you, hey, Hake, you know about House Joint Resolution 192 that was passed in 1933?
No, I don't know about it.
Wow. Now, let's say I just use that as a segue to just endlessly spew off about how we went off the gold standard and the Federal Reserve stole the value out of our money and we have fiat money and money's not really worth what it should be under the... I mean...
Yeah.
If I asked you, like, hey, did you know that we went off the gold standard and they kind of stole the value out of our money back in the day? What would you say?
I've heard stuff along those lines, yes. But I don't know it for myself,
If I said, hey, you know, despite 2 months ago it being addressed in the federal court case that the government was pressuring and colluding with media outlets like Facebook and Twitter, and it just got decided in the courts 2 days. If I said, hey, are you aware that the CIA and the FBI contact the media to try to manipulate the news that we get? What would you say? Have you ever been aware of that?
Not exactly.
Oh, okay. You've never heard anybody talk about that the media is in cahoots kind of with the government?
Oh, yeah, I sort of know that. I vaguely have.
Cool.
Vaguely. I know that they're kind of on the same team.
Yeah, and even though there's a court case that just happened a couple months ago, what if I asked you about Project Mockingbird that was never even a real project for the CIA that got resolved in the 1970s in Congress? 55 years ago, it was made public record, openly discussed how the government was involved with it 50 years ago. And I said, hey, do you know about Project Mockingbird? And then I just used that as an excuse to go off on some subject that everybody knows about.
Yeah.
Which is, but if you just said, hey, did you know that the government colludes with the media? You'd be like, yes, and the conversation would be over. But if you make some weird esoteric lead in and then just blather, oh, hey, did you hear about this one cop that shot this black person? Like, no, I didn't. Well, let me tell you about how white cops get treated unfairly when they have to discipline, when they go to and enforce the law against black people. And it's not the same the other way around. And the media doesn't cover it. It's just like these endless conversations about the lowest IQ stuff that comes out of Southern California, Mr. M, who doctors it up with these leading questions of this. Dad, I don't know about that. And I can tell you, start talking to him about it, and then he gets into like 3 sentences. You're like, dude, this is boring. I don't even want to talk about it no more. Like you ask a question like it's going to be interesting, and then you just go off on the most boomer subjects that every single person in my generation is, dude, it's Alex Jones 20 years ago. Oh, tell me about Operation Northwoods and Operation Mockingbird. Oh, tell me about the Illuminati.
I got you.
Wow,
so you're criticizing my caller, Mark. Thank you, CJ in Texas.
Happy birthday. I wasn't going to mention him. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And Bigg Bump. I'm always glad to hear from you.
Nice,
Have a good day, guys. Bye.
All right, bye. Bigg Bump, it's been fun having you on the show. I got to end, guys. The rest of the callers, there's a bunch of callers. Tony, Joe, Black Rose, and a couple of others who already hung up because they knew that I was running out of time. It's been fun talking to you, man.
Thank you.
Last words for today's show?
No, I don't have anything else. Just no. I don't want to make anything up. So
it's good to hear from you, man. It's good to have you on.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, BIGG-BUMP. Follow him on YouTube, Instagram, BIGG_BUMP on Instagram, and Twitter, X, and Truth Social.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys next week. This has been the Hake Report. No Joel Friday today. American Anchor Baby will be at 4 because there is a fun Fallen State episode. Let me see what I have time to play. I don't have much time. So let's go with listen to Hake News. Let's see. Oh no. Hang on. Let me see where I am. I'm a bit of a boomer. Okay. No.
That's funny.
Oh, hold on. Hold on. Here it's coming. Boom. Nope.
You know they
Whoa.
are fake. Just wait.
My bad, I'm a boomer.
There's
I can't
no
count.
debate. Listen to Hake News.
Adios, America. Thanks again, Bigg Bump.
Thank you.
Take care, guys. Bye. Oh, shoot.